Anthony Chejina, the spokesperson for the refinery, said that first day of February is when the price slash is going to take effect. I can say for a fact that part of what we're going to discuss this afternoon on this fuel price slash, I can say that you could see the fears of the market as being reflected, because I know that I bought fuel and it wasn't at a reduced price, and this was just over the weekend when this price was said to have gone into effect. But yes, indeed, marketers are speaking to correspondents of various news dailies, and they're saying the sudden price reduction by the Dangote refinery, first and foremost, they're saying came about because there had been threats from the marketers themselves to go and get imported fuel, because according to the conversation, imported fuel seemed to have been cheaper than the locally refined fuel. And so they're saying those threats Dangote must have gotten wind of it and then decided to respond to that by bringing the fuel price down, but they are having to face heavy losses from this. Malam Ndahi.
Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Now, I want us to look at this from different perspectives. Let's just first start with the fact that Dangote himself, the company, has come out to reduce the price of fuel. I think it's very commendable, because if you look at what they are doing, generally speaking, that's why some of the issues we've had in Nigeria is a clear indictment on bad governance. I don't want to start throwing blame or apportioning blame at any political party or anyone, but then you must give kudos to this current administration and the immediate government that they have taken over. I know a lot of people will say he has come again. No, but we must, because for this thing to be happening in Nigeria, and then of course you must give kudos to Dangote. And
what are we giving kudos to them for?
Exactly.
The government, first of all, yes. What are we giving kudos to them for?
Give them kudos for enabling. They were contributory to Dangote's success. At least over the last 10 years, they are very contributory. This current government is also contributing. So we must give them kudos. I know this will come out because they have given some form of support that ordinarily you will not expect. So whatever it is, you must, because for us to sit down in Nigeria, we never knew that a refinery was possible in Nigeria. And then government, even this particular government and previous government, they had failed us immensely. A lot of Nigerian youths do not believe that it's possible for a refinery to work. So now that we have Dangote working at Port Harcourt, Warri coming up, it's very exciting. Unfortunately, we're at a time where global oil prices are so high and everything, so it's having an adverse effect on us, not because of our direct situation, but because of it's a global issue. But then back to the main issue here, I think it's commendable that Dangote, keeps on trying to see how he can bring some level of, so he can reduce and do stuff. But then, just like you have said, the average Nigerian will always not want to do things the way it should. For example, if it has gone down, and even by next week, even in the next 2 weeks, it has come down, why are we still buying at the price when it was old? Normally what should happen is
because of the fears that marketers have experienced. Aren't they within their right to talk about those losses?
But it must also reflect. I understand that this is their business, and I don't want to, but it must also reflect a little. The fact that they've started buying it at a slightly cheaper price, it must also reflect. But the fact that it will not reflect, and then you find out that sometimes when we have issues like this, and persons are scared that the price may go a little bit up or something, we even start having hoarding, and then there's panic buying. So the entire system, sometimes I do not just understand how it keeps on happening like that. But I must always give kudos to Dangote. I'm not saying it for anything, but the company, the entire brand that he has, I know a lot of people do not like him, or a lot of people say, they monopolize everything for him. The one he has done, we must give him kudos. The fact that he's helping us to stabilize this particular difficult market, which is the most important market as far as the economy is concerned.
Is he the one stabilizing, or is it the policy on deregulation that is helping to stabilize it?
The policy is there, but you can see that the adherence to that policy and also some of the initiatives he has brought is what is actually bringing some level of sanity to this entire system. The biggest problem we have is always the average Nigerian man, always the average Nigerian marketer, the average Nigerian person that is always going to look for a way to take advantage of any situation and then try to cheat others or try to, outsmart others. That is always the problem we have when it comes to policy implementation and things like this. But having said that, Dangote, well done. And then government, I've said it before, and you must give government, particularly this administration. If you do not like this administration, you are well within your rights. But when it comes to issues concerning oil and gas, I think we can start to give them some pass mark. I don't want to go into some other areas so that we don't leave the topic.
So let me tell you what's funny. Solomon. Just last week, when I was here with Kim, I took a certain position as to, there's certain improvements, I mean, if you look around in certain areas, and I promise you, it was like I was speaking out of a bubble. So when you say give this government kudos, you're saying, oh, they're providing an enabling environment. Is this a case of, we have become so shackled by bad government and bad policies that even a step in the right direction, that is not necessarily something that is out of the blue. It's just move. You're supposed to take a step forward. It's not like they're moving in leaps and bounds. From that little step forward, you're commending them. Have we been so shackled that a simple step forward in the right direction is seen as, something you need to give the government kudos for? Does it mean that in administrations past, what we had was governments stifling moves, to project the country or to move the people forward in at least one step? I just wanted to say, because again, like I said, I was here last week and I was like, what bubble are you speaking out of? What are you thanking them for?
I'm sure
someone likened it to saying, celebrate somebody for doing a road.
I'm sure the callers were coming at you just like they're going to come at me because of what I've said here. You are totally right. You've said it all. The reason why we are celebrating some of these things, or they are looking too abnormal. For example, the sector I wanted to comment on related to oil and gas to an extent is even the power sector. We have had improved light. And I'm speaking.
That was exactly what I said last week. No. And they said, "How dare you speak? In which part of Abuja you live in?"
Now I'm talking from a general, because just like you're aware, we have newsrooms, we have correspondents in different states. I'm not just talking from Abuja perspective. No, I'm talking generally. And what I mean is that, don't get it twisted. When we talk about improved light, we do not mean that, yes, you are having 24 hours. In fact, some days in the last 2 weeks or so, I was personally affected. Where I stay, we had some issues and there were no light for maybe 2-3 days. Now, that is a specific issue. It's not the darkness or the lack of electricity. It's not a result of the ration. It's as a result of a technical issue that has happened. We have it even in the US and other advanced countries. It's called a blackout, or something happens and it's an abnormality that is usually rectified. But when it comes to just normal light as it is being distributed without any issue, no technical issue, I think Mr. Adelabu has come under so much fire. I think Nigerians are not being fair to him now that everybody is now quiet. I'm not saying we should commend him for doing his work, but then there's improved light. We must say it. And the problem is that Somi, I honestly need Nigerian info to provide me with security for the rest of today.
No, we will not do that.
I'm going to get bashing.
Stand on your word with your full chest and collect the consequences.
Fully,
yes,
because what I'm saying, I will not back down. Nigerians, we need to see things from a broader perspective. Nigerians are always looking at issues just like this field matter now. I'm sure when we open the call, we need to look at the little positives and think of how they can become bigger positives rather than just trying to shame anything that comes. We just shove it. No, it's a negative.
So perhaps it's not necessarily a case of shaming. It's more a case of, you are commending, that's not the word. It's like you're throwing a party, basically, for something that is a day-to-day in, more advanced societies and economies, for example, right? And, so the challenge here is, maybe we should have left it at what we're seeing in terms of fuel. Now, you went to an area that is probably going to make people definitely, want to throw sticks on the matter of electricity. This same electricity that you mentioned that you say is improved, because news reports have it that with that tiny little improvement, that one that hasn't really touched on every part of the country, or let me not go too far, every part of the FCT, the federal government is said to be planning an electricity tariff hike. So it's like you're doing a little bit, but because we have been so, like I said, stifled or shackled for so long, that little bit, while we're trying to celebrate it, you're now coming back to hold our hands a little bit more. So perhaps, again, I guess that's where the challenge is with some of the reactions that we are getting.
Exactly.
You've heard of the planned electricity tariff hike.
Clarification, because sometimes we must always, we have people that are interested in always spreading news that will create panic, spreading fake news that...
This is as published on the dailies.
No, I know. Because she came out her name is Olu Vehijen. She's the special advisor to the president on energy. What she said, she was speaking at a forum and she said, with what is going on globally and everything, there will be a hike very soon or soon. Nigerians, and she explained that Nigeria still pays about 200 billion naira subsidy, and about 25% of the wealthiest people are the ones that just benefit. So there's still going to be a lot of things that will happen in the power sector. But she did not say 65, because what other people were reporting was that the presidency says there will be 65% hike. 65% hike in electricity tariff, that is too much. That is not what the presidency says will happen, or according to what she said. She made a clarification about it, saying that she never said 65%. She just said it's imminent. That is her exact words, where it is imminent. It's something that will definitely happen. And when she says soon, maybe not next week, not next month, but maybe before the end of this administration, or definitely.
I personally think that any time this year is actually too soon. In fact, anytime in the next 2 years is actually too soon, because the people who have been dealing with the just increased tariff from last year are still not getting the benefits necessarily as much.
No, of course, they are not getting the...
So coming with another one would be too much. Yes? Anytime in the next 2 years, no?
Exactly. One of the honest things I'll tell you, one of the issues, I won't say an issue I have with this government, but one of the things that I understand, this government, they have a lot of good economical policies, but I think they are not, the humane side is not there. I understand, and to get things done, especially in a country like Nigeria, you must,
step onto it.
Yes, and you must take unpopular decisions.
Okay.
Yes, leadership is about unpopular decisions, but I feel particularly that this government, they take it's a little bit too rigid. Yes, I think they could have soft pedaled a little bit. The former administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, one thing about the man is that everybody condemn him, he's not this, he's not that. But then he had a more human face. In terms of yes, Somi.
I mean, some would argue
that is it.
It was more. Some would argue that it was more of an indifferent kind of attitude. So you're not getting empathetic. You're not necessarily getting too stringent either. It was sort of like right at the top of the fence. Like the fence, you're not even on top of it. You're just hovering above.
No, Somi.
That kind of indifference.
That is an interpretation. That is the kind of interpretation a lot of people want to create out of the situation. But we're looking at...
It is fact for some people. Exactly. But let's leave that conversation. You talked about the position of the government in terms of trying to be a bit more gentle in terms of their policy directions and all of that. So let's look at what this particular one is talking about. The next story here is on the Telecoms tariff hike. According to the Daily Post from today, it says Nigeria government is in last-minute move to try and avert the NLC shutdown. Of course, we know that 3 days ago, the NLC, under the leadership of Joe Ajaero, came out to say no to the 50% tariff hike by the telecom companies. It said that there are indications that the federal government will meet. As a matter of fact, I do have confirmation that there's a meeting currently going on to stop the planned nationwide protest against this 50% telecommunications tariff hike. Yes, so the meeting I hear is going on, or is probably about to start, but there's definitely that move by the federal government to try and do that. A source speaking to Daily Post said dialogue on matters of national interest as it is affects Nigerian workers, and so they were looking into that. According to this report, it will be an interministerial meeting with the secretary to the government of the Federation, purposely to resolve issues raised by the NLC concerning federal government's approved upward adjustment to telecommunications tariff, which the NLC, its allies, and others are vehemently opposing. Speaking of vehemently opposing, there, word, out there is also that the workers of the telecoms companies are opposed to the NLC going on strike. So the workers are saying, no, this thing is not necessary. This strike you're going on, the NLC is insisting, and the federal government is in a meeting with them. Perhaps you have some more information to shed light on this for us.
Thank you very much. Already plans are being made. I don't know what the outcome of this particular meeting will be, but I can guarantee and tell you that plans are being made, because I'm in contact with some people in the NLC, and they're coming from the national headquarters here in Abuja. Okay. Plans are being made to already mobilize people tomorrow for a peaceful protest concerning this particular hike. We do not know whether this meeting will, change the circumstance. But one thing I must say is that normally I support the NLC, because the NLC, they are the last hope of the people. That is the only association, as far as I'm concerned, that is genuinely concerned about the average Nigerian, or the worker, or the or the masses. Every other person has his own agenda, political or anything. But the NLC is just like this, our father, all of us. So that's one thing about them. But this particular protest, I do not think it should go on. Look at, there are many factors. First of all, this particular hike by the Telcoms, they must do it. They have to do it. Every other person has hiked its own service because they have to live with the reality on ground. The economic realities necessitates that these telcos increase their tariff. It's not magic. You understand? They are also working with a lot of the factors that we're working with. The same way you go to the market, you see that this woman has ogbono now. If I tell you how much a cup is, you will be surprised. So everything must go up. So you do not expect the telcos to just sit down and not increase their own tariff. They are also running a business that must be viable. So you cannot just sit down and just say they shouldn't. That's why even their workers are not in support. Normally, when something like this wants to happen, you see that even the people that are directly involved are supporting because they know that, yes, it can benefit them. But a lot of people are not in support of this particular protest because look at the reality. What the NLC should be protesting, or rather channel their attention, is towards tackling government and making sure there's an enabling environment.
Tackling them on what?
I'm not attacking. Engaging government.
Yes.
Engaging government towards seeing that the entire economic atmosphere of Nigeria is properly shaped. We have issues of inflation. Everything is addressed. Then even the telcos increase the tariff. It's okay, we can handle it. But you can't just go and meet the telcos and tell them that no, they will shut down. We will not have any connection in Nigeria, and then that is when our eyes will open. So I am not supporting the telcos. I do not have any affiliation with them. But I think the NLC is good that they are always thinking for the masses, thinking for the average. But I don't think a protest will have any, because the telcos are doing this well within their rights. So I think the whole idea of a protest, even though I'm always a solidarity man, but in this context, telling them not to protest is just telling them to run their business down. And eventually, telling them not to hike the price, the tariff, is like telling them to shut their business down. Eventually, we're going to have a time that they will come out and announce that we can no longer operate in Nigeria, we're going, and then we will not have this particular service. I
mean, concerning that particular one, some would say that even with the provision of their services before, everything went topsy-turvy, especially last year, their services were not even up to par. So people are already paying at the rate they're paying. The services are not up to par. So why should you? What really is the justification for this one? Are you going to do anything in terms of improvement of services, or you're just doing it because, as everybody's saying, the economic realities, everything else has gone up, so telecoms tariffs too have to go up? I mean, what are we really looking at here? I might have the answer to that one, because the telecoms operators themselves have spoken.
Yes.
But just in case, or did you have an answer to that?
No. Honestly, I think it should be a combination of both. That means even if they're going to increase the tariff because of the economic realities,
there should be improved service.
Yes, the NCC, and then the good thing is I already have bodies that are there to protect us and make sure that we get services. We have the FCCPC, we have the NCC, who is their direct supervisor. So these agencies should live up to the expectation. But
that's the thing, because I was just going to say, even if the telcos were doing what they do, and if the level of regulation and supervision and checks and balances are not put in place, then really and truly this tariff might just hurt the average Nigerian more than anything, because prices are going up but services are remaining the same.
I remain the same. I can't tell you how many times I went to a particular network provider, their office last year. I was always there complaining for almost 3 weeks. I could not buy.
I think I know the exact
I don't just even want to call the caller.
No, we're not calling it out. But let's hear what the telecoms operators are saying, right? So telecommunications operators in the country have said that they are working to ensure an improvement in the quality of their services, even before the 3-month timeline given to them by the NCC. And they were speaking during the weekend. They were speaking over the weekend during a forum of telecom CEOs and the media on the recently approved 50% increase in tariff. The Chief Corporate Services and Sustainability Officer of MTN Nigeria was speaking, Mr. Toby Okigbo, and he said that the operators have already begun the process of ordering new equipment to boost capacity, right? So, and from their estimation, they might just go ahead and even beat the deadline that NCC has given them. They say we should be seeing an uplift in service quality, but they said that they will try to make it shorter, because the truth is that the better the quality, the more money you spend, and the better for them. That's an interesting one.
Exactly. That's a very valid point they've made. Whether we like it or not, they have to also comply with what is happening, but we just want them to improve their services. Yes, and the NCC should step up their game, but we cannot tell them not to improve. They spend a lot of money. If you are familiar with how this particular sector works, you know that a lot of money is spent. So a lot of things that we are dealing with, power and some other things that exist, and then the cost of them, it affects them hugely. So they must also it must also be reflected in their own. Yes, if not, they would be. It's a business. It should be viable.
Because some of these things that they're listing as what some of the factors that impact quality of service, such as fiber cuts, vandalization of telecom equipment, they need to take ownership of it. I mean, perhaps this increase in tariff would allow for them to provide more protection for themselves. If there needs to be a better handshake between them and the regulators, and whatever. But if really and truly the fallout of the meeting that is currently going on, if it's not done already, or if it's yet to start, whatever, there's a meeting that is to be held today. The fallout of that, if it does not avert the strike, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. I'm sure we'll definitely have. I'm sure the head of news manager will definitely be able to provide you or provide the studio with reporters that will cover it if the protest goes on, so that you can have a feel. But just like I said, honestly, the protest I don't think is necessary. I hope it's resolved, because we're talking of a bad economic situation. We're talking of a situation whereby we're having losses. Then if you have a protest like that and we shut down the whole of tomorrow, what good does it do to anybody? So it's not necessarily. They must add the tariff. They must hike the tariff. There's no two ways about it, unless you want to tell yourself a lie. Unless you want them to be doing it for free, then we just know that it's like a walkie-talkie. I just say, Somi, how are you free? Because
analog.
How so is it habamana?
All right, I see the phone lines blinking. Messages are already coming in. We'll just take one more story, get Ndahi's thoughts on it, and then we'll open up the phone lines so that you can contribute to the conversation. This one coming all the way from the United States, where Elon Musk has said that President Donald Trump has agreed that the U.S. Agency for International Development needs to be shut down. And this is coming after days of speculation over the future of the agency after its funding was frozen and dozens of its employees were put on leave. Musk was speaking at X Spaces conversation earlier today, and he said, and I quote, "With regards to the USAID stuff, I went over it with the president in detail, and he agreed that we should shut it down." Musk said he checked with Trump a few times, and Trump confirmed that he wants to shut down the agency, which is responsible for dispensing billions in humanitarian aid and development funding annually. Of course, reporters reached out to the White House and USAID for comment. No report on their comments just yet, but that one is indeed clear. Problem with this is not just the impact that it's going to have to the countries and the agencies that have been benefiting from this aid, it's also their staff. Around 60 senior USAID staff were put on leave last week on accusations of attempting to circumvent Trump's executive order to freeze foreign aid for 9 days. Another senior official was put on leave for trying to reverse that move after finding no evidence of wrongdoing. And so what you're having here is interplay within these agencies. There's a conversation around, which other one was it? I think somewhere, I can't remember which country it was. It was in the UK. But, you see that there is active involvement in trying to ensure that the policies and the policy positions of the President of the United States are scuttled to some extent. Hi, Chinatu.
This is one of the people that Trump needs to take out of...
paparazzi. Okay.
So thank you so much. First of all, I like Donald Trump because if I was an American, I would do exactly what he's doing. America first, Nigeria first, Botswana first, Uganda first, wherever you are from and you are a leader, that is the place you must prioritize. I do not understand why the US government over the years, they sit down and they just send millions of dollars to some countries to be able to help them get the needful done. Meanwhile, in those countries, we have corrupt leaders that are stealing from the people and not doing the right thing. Then us in our own country, because we have resources and we know how to manage them, we're now the ones running your country. No, you understand? If I had my way, if I was the US president, I'd cut off every form of aid that the US gives. Maybe there are some that are done in collaboration, maybe as a group, but just for the US to sit down, you said, why is there Nigeria aid? Does Nigeria help any country like that? Does Ghana do that? So why does the US, why would they take their own resources, earned resources? Who gives them the money? So, because why I'm saying this, because I've heard a lot of people on different platforms come out to say, what Trump is doing is not good. No, your country is not good. All these countries that are benefiting, because you have had bad leadership in many cases. I know some of these countries, they are in these positions or in this situation because of some factors that are beyond control and some kind of tragedy or some other things. But if you look at it in the long run, why is the US helping Nigeria? with HIV/AIDS drugs? Why are they like subsidizing it? Why? Don't we have a government? Why can't our government do it? Yes. Why? Does the Nigerian government subsidize any drug for the US citizens? No. You understand? The US, what?
Is it fair to say that they don't subsidize any drug for the US citizens?
The Nigerian government?
Okay, the Nigerian.
Yes,
okay,
the Nigerian government
the US
does not.
government.
No, the Nigerian, so why is the US government doing it for Nigerians, for Africans? And I do not understand the concept of like it's entitlement.
Let me explain the concept of the USAID to you.
No, I know how USAID works. I'm talking now. I was speaking generally concerning all the form of aid that the US does. But I understand, like you said, just like you're saying, a lot of people internally is also going to affect them because they also have a lot of their staff that are in the particular country that are also working for USAID and everything. But generally, Somi, because we're looking at the entire ideology. What I'm looking at here is the ideology, not just an isolated case. The entire ideology of just having the US just sponsor the rest of the world while we have leaders that are gallivanting and wasting our own resources, and then they are not wasting theirs because they have an insufficient. They are now deploying it to other countries, helping, making the world a better place. It's a no-brainer. If I have food and you have food, if you cannot manage your own food, when I'm eating, you should just be sleeping. What are you awake for? So Nigeria, we should... Nigerians, Africans, a lot of these countries are benefiting. Even when it comes to these illegal migrants, why are you leaving your country to go and populate their country for them? Fix your country, stay here and fix it, or go and look for that your father or your uncle that spoiled the country and ask him why he spoiled it. But you just leave your country with all, you carry your own issue and then go and be disturbing somebody when they deport you, say Trump has deported. Are you from there? Why do you want to go and give birth in the US and say so that my son will have citizenship? How many Americans leave and come and give birth in Sokoto or Jos so that their own?
I mean, a few of them do.
Is that their sole intention? You leave California and come to Sokoto so that your child will have Nigerian citizenship? No. So let us stop. You understand, they are entitled to do what they want to do with their money, with their support. If we let us fix our country, after Ghana, fix your country. Because I'm calling Ghana because it looks like the countries that benefit the most from the US in Africa. We have Somalia, Nigeria, Ghana. Fix your country. Make your country good, then people will start coming. But don't just believe in your country, go and create nuisance, and then tomorrow you go and catch it.
Go and create nuisance. Oh no, that one I would disagree, because a lot of people who are in this situation are not necessarily nuisances.
A lot also. Do you know why? Go and look at the statistics. Go and look at those that have been involved. There's a lot of case of drug abuse. You know, we look at the issues. NDLA releases a statement every Monday as against operations that has happened maybe during the weekend. Go and see the number of Nigerians that were caught trying to take drugs to these countries. Go and look at how many of them that are in those countries and they are bringing in. You understand? Is that why you were there? So I'm not saying everybody. No, not everybody. We have people that have left Nigeria and are even contributing to those countries. But then we have a lot of people. That's why they constitute issues there. If you don't want me to use nuisance, let me call it issues. But that's why you see these countries have issues with them, because a lot of even white collar crime, black, all of them, we have a lot of people that have migrated from Africa that are disturbing them over there. So when Trump wants to take out the Mexicans, take out the Nigerians, you do not look at him like a bad person. You look at him like somebody trying to protect his family, protect his people.
Oh, so I don't even think it's the conversation of, bad or good. However, I would say that there is a conversation around the style of Trump, especially as regards Elon Musk, right? Mm-hmm. Because Musk was the one speaking on this, and the words he used, very strong. He said, USAID is beyond repair. Among other cracks he made against the agency created by Congress as an independent body. He said, we don't have an apple with a worm. We have a bowl of worms. He said USAID is a bowl of worms. Now, bear in mind that USAID was established in 1961 under President John F. Kennedy's administration and is the U.S. government's humanitarian arm, right? It dispenses billions of dollars annually across the world in an effort to alleviate poverty, treat diseases, and respond to famines and natural disasters. All very noble causes, no? Yes. I mean, apart from the U.S., US is not the only one who has this kind of body who is doing this kind of thing. I think it's a laudable initiative. It's a good one, right?
A lot of the German government, yes. maybe not as much as the US, a lot of countries. But then, so what we're saying is that, you see, let me because I'm trying to make this give a very human example.
It's a case of overdependence.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. So if you are always giving me money to eat, there's nothing wrong. You are going to receive blessing both from man and God. But the day that you stop, nobody should come and say you're a bad person. You understand? That is the case of the US. Donald Trump wants to stop. It's not as if he's saying that what they are doing is wrong, but then the US is for the US. They want to they are pulling out from a lot of agreements. The Paris Agreement of 2016, they are pulling out because it doesn't favor them. It's like Nigeria and ECOWAS.
But beyond aid, do you know that the USAID, let me call it that, not USAID,
Yes.
the USAID is also seen as a key soft power tool of the US to foster relations with communities around the world. So it's not just aid. Beyond aid, it's also seen as an agency that promotes democracy building and development by supporting NGOs, independent media, and social initiatives.
How many?
So beyond the aid, the conversation around the aid that they provide, right? They're also, as I said here, a key soft power tool. Apparently, the U.S. national security is approached with the 3D pillars: defense, diplomacy, and development, led respectively by the Defense Department, State Department, and USAID.
How much does the Nigerian government spend towards fostering peace, unity, and ensuring a good democracy in the U.S.? Is there any agency in the Nigerian government that is saddled with the responsibility of making the U.S. democracy stronger and better? Is there? No.
So your point is,
or your own, everybody on your own. You can, if you cannot, if
will
you
it be
can,
possible though?
No, yes,
Don't
I
you
know
need help
we are not
from-
all equal, but
Yes.
then when you the doer, the person that does it, the person that makes it possible, when you are saying that this is too much for me and I want to cut down some of these things, nobody should blame me, because these other countries that are benefiting, if you go like Nigeria, it's so sad. Look at countries. The US has an agency sending money and giving money and aid and support, technically, financially, to Nigerian government, to countries in Africa. And then these same countries, go and look at the case of corruption. Do you know how much Desiani stole? Desiani, 52 billion naira, my sister. Sorry, dollars. 52. Then so why should, if I was Trump, I would, honestly speaking, I'm not exaggerating. Even one sweet, I would not give anybody.
Okay.
Everybody, if you don't, anything you don't have, I'm so sorry.
All right. So we're opening up the phone lines right now. We want to get your thoughts on it. But let's start with Chinatu. Chinatu has a word or two on this.
I am so sorry. I just came here to do something else. And Solomon, I have a question for you.
Quickly, so that we can let the callers handle. Okay.
So, the USAID, do they help every country in Africa?
No, not at all. Their mandate is not for Africa. It's for, just like she's read.
Thank you. That means they don't help the whole world, right?
No,
So
they have a limit.
They have a limit. Thank you. So why Nigeria?
No, I'm giving why Nigeria, and I'm giving the context.
Why is Nigeria part of those countries?
Because we are underdeveloped.
Okay, are we the only underdeveloped country that they are helping?
No.
Okay, so do you know why I'm putting this to you? There are so many bilateral and multilateral agreements that we as citizens do not know. Why do you think they would now come and just give Nigeria such aid? There are other agreements that comes with this stuff. Let me give an example. The oil trade or imports and exports. There are different clauses to different contracts. You don't know if this aid is based off of another contract that says, okay, yes, we'll do this, but you have to get your aid to Nigeria to bring medication.
To the best of my knowledge, there's trade agreement that, just like you said, and then this one comes purely from an angle of aid. I am not. You probably
You would be shocked.
Okay. All right.
You would be
like
shocked.
I said, there's the aid aspect of it, and there's also development towards democracy and all of that. But let's let the listeners in on this. The numbers to call to contribute to any of the conversations this afternoon on Roundtable: 07009510000 or 0809-597-4869. On WhatsApp, we are 0809-993-0137. Please keep your contributions to no more than a minute so that we can make ample use of your time. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Adiola Victor from Bisa Lagi.
Welcome. Go ahead.
You see, some of these decisions and some of these executive orders being rolled out by Trump, whether we like it, will directly or indirectly affect America. It's just a matter of time. You see, we are in a globalized world where the politics of globalization is very important, and it involves political and economic diplomacy. No country can stand on its own. No country is an island. You see, some of these decisions they are taking. Some of the party men, they don't like it. But some people, some of the supporters say, well, America first. Yes, America first. But at the end of the day, it's just a matter of time. Then, as for for the labor who are backing on strike or who want to embark on strike, you see, I want to advise them they shouldn't waste their time because the Nigerians are no more in support of labor. You know, labor will continue to mess up, especially when the government remove subsidies. Many Nigerians were telling them to do the needful, but they failed.
Okay.
And look at what they negotiated with the government. So
all right.
many workers are not happy with them. So
okay.
Stop wasting their time. Because Nigerians, whether we like it or not, we continue to be burdened by harsh and unfriendly, because this government say this administration is a continuation of Buhari regime.
All right, then. Thank you so much.
So they will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
My name is Jacob.
Go ahead.
So I just want to comment on this issue of Trump, his policies that is rolling out. He said all these things before during his campaign. And people, the Americans, they like it. That's why they voted him into power. What concerns us then? I'm really of the opinion that all this world superpower that has given aid everything to Africa, they should stop it so that our leader can speak word. I'm very much in support of what our guest is saying there concerning this issue of Trump.
Okay.
All of them, the UK, all of them, any aid that given to Africa countries, they should stop it so that we will learn how to develop ourselves. Because if you will not do too much, you don't take or have to feed yourself. If I'm giving food every day, I say I cannot do it again. You say I'm a bad man. Let it be.
All right.
Let it be. So if I'm Trump, I will do more than this. Our leaders are wicked. Our leaders, that is why I have problem like this in Africa.
Okay.
That's why I feel that. I support what our guest is saying there.
All right, then. Thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, my name is Lukman.
Go ahead, Lukman.
Thank you. Yes, Donald Trump is acting in the interest of his country. He's allowed. His selfishness is allowed at individual level, at national level too. So, but this, we are quick in Nigeria to support a particular person. Oh, remove it. Nothing will. No. This aid too, it's not as if it's directly attached to any trade or whatever agreement, but it's a case of I give you whenever I need something, you have less reason to decline. Donald Trump made a statement recently. He was saying that Egypt and Jordan has no option or has little option to reject their accommodation of Palestine, as he suggested that they should accommodate Palestine based on what you have been giving them. Can you see? That is the effect of foreign aid. It whittle away the sovereignty of a country, because at a point the country will not be able to take an independent decision because of what they have been getting from other countries. So,
all right.
I cannot say they should remove. They should just totally, take it away, because we too are benefiting directly or indirectly from it.
Okay.
But just because we are over-dependent country, we are overly dependent. There are all third world countries are dependent.
All right, then.
Nigeria is overly dependent on other countries. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. And take some messages and I'll go back to the phone lines. Cash money. Cash money, thank you for your message. I see you. Apologies. We'll find each other on the night show starting tomorrow, okay? I have a voice note here, see if I can come back to it. But let's see. Agbalusia Ngeni, I hope I pronounced that properly, says, good day. Your guest, Malam Suleiman Dai, has been a very biased and a supporter of the APC administration. He's also a card-carrying member of the APC. Really, did you see the card on him? He said, so his analysis on the station will always be in support of the administration. We don't need his input. Well, we need his input. We brought him here. It's okay to disagree with him. Make your case and then move on. All right. Thank you so much. He's one of us, whether you like it or not. Good afternoon. You guys are doing justice to the topic of the day. Please, may I ask how is Swat? It's been long. I heard from her. I hope she's okay. She's fantastic. Swat should be back with you on the sunny side, hopefully next week. Yes? Mr. Solomon, nobody is coming for you. We all know. What is this? Can you people leave my guests alone? Address the issues, leave the person, okay? Thank you so much, Joey Maraba. Good afternoon, Somi, and I agree with your guest. What is happening to us as a people in Nigeria is the best thing that can happen to us. Change is always a difficult route, but we need to change. I only have an advice for our leaders to use our resources judiciously in order to build a society where every citizen will feel among. The hike in telecoms at a time like this is a no-no to me. Thank you, Oludade Abiodun, for your message. Let's go back to the phone lines. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
In fact, you see, if we have a strong institution, all this thing that is happening to us in this nation, nobody happen. Because our leaders, they are only out to grab power. The right of the citizens does not concern them. They don't care how they spend their money, buy it and sell and grab power. And they don't know even whether the people they are ruling, whether they are happy or they are not happy. It's not their business. My name is Peter.
Thank you for your message. Oh dear, I thought he was done. Sorry. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, Madam, how are you?
I'm good. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, my name is Ojo, the next president. Happy New Month.
Same to you, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank our guest today. He has really spoken. Most of his comments just tally with my business. Concerning Donald Trump, somebody said, I don't want to become a Father Christmas to African country who has refused to develop themselves. And their leader make this your use of their money. And we are complaining. Is it by God to give money have to do? For over the years that we've been giving this money, what has really changed in the attitude of our political leaders? This is the country that they will store the money and go and drop it in US. So if you say you don't want to be a Father Christmas, there's nothing wrong with that now.
Okay.
The only beg me I want to beg Trump that please, all the property in America that belong to political leaders will be confiscated and send the money back to Nigeria.
Thank you.
That's when I will really be justified with what Trump is doing to Africa.
All right, then. Thank you,
And
Ojo.
concerning the NSC,
Your time is up, please.
we don't want any issue of strike or whatever.
All right,
Let's
then.
talk to federal government.
All right, thank you. Conversation is ongoing. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, please. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Thank you. This is Fred. We're calling from Warrington.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Trump's decision for Americans here is a good one, I believe, because the fact is that check other countries. This whole thing, I'm sure, started from the BRICS, the formation of the BRICS against the dollar and all that. Now, if you are Trump, for that sake, with all those people coming against your nation, what will you do? Let the whole world feel it and see if really what they've been doing is good or not. Because the truth is that neither China or India or all these guys have been beneficiaries from that state as well. And what would they expect today differently? Because you talk about the World Health Organization, the UN. These guys have been the highest donors all these decades. Till date, the UN, everything. These guys have done so much to this world that people don't see. And the fact that today, these guys came up with the BRICS. All right, let the whole world start feeling it, because I had somebody yesterday, was it just day before yesterday, complaining about in South Africa about what is going to hit them, the HIV drugs and all that, and a lot of things. Now, this is just the beginning, and I'm telling you, what is going to happen is going to be very, very bad to a lot of countries that have been dependent on that.
Okay.
Really, a country like Nigeria,
all right,
not exempted for the fact that ours is just poor leadership,
okay,
bad leadership, because democracy seems not to have roots today.
All right, thank you, sir.
This is the reason why we're still having these problems.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, let's go back to WhatsApp, shall we? Okay. Let's see. Good afternoon. This one says, if you are enjoying this administration, please keep it to yourself, because for me, I see nothing that has improved. Please, where's the money for subsidy? Where did it go? And which of the economic policy is working? Tell me Monday with that one. Perhaps you want to respond?
Exactly. Now, when I say things are improving, I don't mean that Gary now is 1 naira per mudu in the market, or Bono is 2 naira per mudu. What I mean is that the policies that are on ground, they are slowly. Look at the electricity issue. Yes, he brought out a policy that we didn't like, the whole band A, band B, band C, everything. But then, can see that slowly it has now meant that there are places that you can have consistent electricity supply without any issue.
But there was always that.
No, very few.
There was always that.
Not compared to now. Now, Somi, what I'm saying, man, I please want people on this platform to call in and also share their testimony, because this can't be only
if they'll be honest, because honestly, yes, I noticed it in my area.
Thank you. You understand?
But it's a lot easier for me to say I'm on band B. Perhaps if I was on band A, I would demand for my 20 hours nothing less.
Exactly.
Because I'm paying through my nose for it.
Thank you. So exactly, and that was the whole idea. You will pay. A lot of Nigerians were actually saying before, give us light, let us pay, because it's better than doing solar. It's better than buying fuel for generator. So as long as you give us, we'll pay, and that seems to be working, and that's what's happening now. So I don't want to go into too many.
Pick up where these things are, so that more people can attest to
exactly.
it. Okay.
Yeah. So I wish I had more time to reply the person asking me, but I want you to know that there are actual policies. I'm not supporting anybody, but the actual policies that they might take time, but it is getting better slowly but surely. Unfortunately,
snail slow.
Snail
slow.
Exactly.
But something. Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, Somi and Nigerian Info. On the issue of whether we are having improved electricity or not, fantastic. Right on time with the response. There is something I have been saying for about 20 years, and I want to repeat it here. If you want to know if electricity has improved by an inch, please do your assessment to include February 15 and May 15 each year. Based on my experience, these are the worst 3 months of electricity each year, and I have not seen any improvement in 20 years, despite the huge investments by the government. If our light improves during these 3 months in 2025, I will join you to praise the government. You may be celebrating too early. Meanwhile, in the place I live in Abuja, there is no improvement. At least I am sure of this one. There's never light between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. Let's do our assessment again by the end of May 2025. Is this Chime? Chime. Yes, thank you for that. I need to take this one, and then I will take one more call. There is improved light indeed. Is it not your in-house analyst? I would have been surprised if you said otherwise. Nobody today. Honestly, if I see one more attack at the person he did, give me all of those. Yes, because honestly, I felt bad. I was like, but I'm not mad now. I saw that there was I'm not mad. But when you take it from a global, a more widespread sampling, all of those things, then it then makes one say, okay, maybe like you said, perhaps are we celebrating too early?
Exactly.
So don't attack the person, attack the issue and leave it alone, okay? Your observation on power and Dangote refinery are right. To have a different point of view, have your facts. Yusuf from Kuji. We should learn to be open-minded in this country. Yusuf with that one. Let me take that last call. Hello?
Hello, Auntie Somi.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, our guest.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Mike. You're one of us.
Yes, sir.
I greet everybody. This is Dan calling from Niger State. You say we should recommend Dangote for the good job, also the federal government. Then the failure of the government, who do we hold accountable for? You understand? The refinery has not been working for many years. Who do you want us to hold? Or who do you want us to complain to? I don't know. And for the Dangote, for the power that we study now, which guarantee do you have that the power will remain like that? For last year, the national grid fell for 120 times.
Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible. Like, I would take on the Minister of Power for that one any day. There's nothing they want to tell me on that one. That was inexcusable. All right, then. Thank you so much, Donatus from Niger State. Solomon Dahi, I think I want to keep you here for just a little bit longer. Please, no. After Abuja today, give me 15 more minutes. Okay, Solomon has to run. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Bivan is here to take us on Abuja today. Hopefully, by the time we get back, Kim will have joined us in the studio. Maybe we'll see about pushing the conversation a little bit longer. We want to look specifically to the tariff hike. Yes, we want to look to the tariff hike and the implications for Nigerians. So we will take on at least that part of the conversation and continue it. But let's have Bivan now. Hi, Bivan.
Hello, ma. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. All right, then.
There's a place where you can get it all.
This is Nigeria Info.